Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome, if I might say so, to today's summer award ceremony here in Bath Abbey. And if some of you are warm, please spare a thought for the rest of us wearing all these extra robes and hats and things today. For those of you receiving your degrees, it probably doesn't seem that long ago since you arrived. Arrived here as students, and here we are, celebrating your achievements as graduates. And I trust that your family and friends, some of whom no doubt have travelled long distances to be with you, can share our pride in your success. And as you reflect your time at the university, I hope you feel that you have made the most of what we offer, whether that be the academic and research facilities or the wide variety of activities through the university's societies and clubs, or perhaps the opportunity to engage with the wider community of Bath. Whichever, I hope you have forged good and, with luck, long-lasting friendships, as well as many happy memories. There are many ways in which our university and students impact on wider society, although it's perhaps in the sporting arena where we often attract the most immediate attention. Nevertheless, I couldn't help noticing some of the research and other projects being undertaken. Our Powertrain and Vehicle Research Centre has been awarded 3 grants to lead on the latest research into improving automotive engine efficiency and emissions, which includes installing a dynamometer, I know I should have written this one down anyway, a dynamometer as part of a groundbreaking new Centre for Low Emission Vehicle Research. I have no idea what that actually is, but I'm sure it's really good. Meanwhile, one of our talented young Warrad Fellows, Dr. Ulrich Hintermeer, working in the Centre of Sustainable Chemical Technologies in partnership with Yale University, has developed a new material for generating hydrogen from water, thus opening up the possibility of making hydrogen a viable, renewable and non-carbon fuel, especially for vehicles for the future. And finding a sustainable way of splitting water has been one of the holy grails of chemistry. So this is quite a breakthrough. I was particularly heartened to learn that the university's Institute for Policy Research has urged the government to address the outdated image of Britain's manufacturing industry to reinvigorate it for the future. The UK now produces more manufactured goods than ever before. And the maker economy, which includes the creative sector, industrial design, a renewed interest in craft, 3D printing, and the manufacture of digital mobile applications, among others, is at an all-time high. Furthermore, it should be recognized that the sector's success depends on the creative arts, including market-oriented design, business studies, and social science, in order to sustain a highly skilled manufacturing workforce. And this links perfectly to the idea behind The Edge, which I had the pleasure of opening a few weeks ago. And this is the new Arts Centre, which comes within the orbit of the management faculty, and thus providing practical opportunities for business management and the creative arts to spark off each other. And I'll watch with interest as to which will influence the other most. But more importantly, I hope The Edge will be a fantastic new addition to the campus as well as student life, encouraging new heights in both the performing as well as exhibitive arts. Finally, please spare a thought for a team of our students who are designing and building an unmanned aerial vehicle or system that could change the face of humanitarian aid. The competition, run by the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, is designed to get students thinking about the contemporary needs of the rapidly evolving drone industry. And Bath's entry will be quite a system, capable of long-range communication with a 50-kilometre round-trip range. And we wish the team every success, as they will be at Bruntingthorpe Aerodrome over the next couple of days in a fly-off with 14 other universities, where they will attempt to deliver a small package mimicking the humanitarian use of drone technology in one of a series of real-world scenarios. Now, I'm sure today's graduates will join me in thanking those who provided guidance, help and support during their time here. I pay particular tribute to the staff in our academic departments, schools, and partner colleges who filled students with enthusiasm for their subjects, and especially acknowledge the role of all the other members of the community whose contribution is essential to our continued success. So now, it's time to take the next step in your chosen careers. And whatever you choose to do, we wish you the very best of luck, and that you put everything you have learned here to excellent use. We will continue to watch your career with interest, and in turn, I hope you will take more than just a passing interest in the fortunes of this university. In spite of its relative youthfulness, this university has established itself as a major player in this country, and I believe a popular place to study and research. I also sense that we have the potential to achieve more, and our challenge is to build our international reputation and establish more multinational research links. And as graduates ready to face the world, you embody that potential and the feeling of optimism it brings. And I trust that when and if the opportunity arises, you will feel able to put in a good word for us. So with that thought, I wish all our graduates today every success in the future, wherever that leads you. And my final and most pleasing duties are firstly to commend the Honorary Graduand today, Professor Martin Hyland, who will be accepting the honorary degree of Doctor of Science in recognition of his distinguished contributions to mathematical, logical, and theoretical computer science. And secondly, to announce the Chancellor's Prize, which is made in recognition of academic excellence, together with contribution to the life, academic reputation, and general work of the university. This year is awarded to Miss Jemima Tabbert in the Department of Mathematical Sciences. Jemima. Brilliant. Very good. So, very good. Excellent. Congratulations, team. Really well done. So, by my authority as Chancellor, I declare this congregation open for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.
Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Science who have been awarded taught degrees within the Department of Mathematical Sciences. Will the graduates please rise?
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon each of you a degree of the University of Bath with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the graduates please be seated? Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Chancellor and to receive their degree certificates? Bachelor of Science in Mathematical Sciences, William Austin. Harry Beale. Rhys Booth. James Boxall. Samuel Britton. Ashley Bryant. Annabella Helena Buyuk. Timothy Stephen Bullen. Christian Lewis William Burgess. Emma Burton. Henry Clace. Jessica Alice Clark. Emily Davis. Sarui Deng. Peter Duval. James S. Shunying Fan. Catherine Emily Garland. Matthew James Hampson. Thomas Richard Harris. Jeanne Christophe Heeb. Laura Holdcroft. Richard Hooper. Jodie Hutchinson. Esme Jenkins. Chloe Louise Jones. Shannon Ruth Jones. Charles Patrick Keenan. Chun Wang Kelvin Ko. Michael Peter Langdon Davies. Elizabeth Amy Langley Jones. Jacqueline Lewis. Michael Lord. Duncan Love. Hannah Lubbock. Holly Sophie Luca. Gan Luau. Laura Jane Marshall. Elizabeth Asher Mehta. William Charles Miller. Rory Edward Alexandra Miss Campbell. Hugo Muller. Chantal Louise Parr. Helena Kate Elizabeth Pearson. Jack Michael Penn. William Peters. Peter James Place. Elliot Potter. Caris Prosser. Matthew Ellis Reed. Damani Cornelius Emil Richards. Nicole Robinson. Claudia Ruffini. Joshua Salter. James Robert Sawley. Joseph Senior. Heather Louise Skilton. Philip Richard Smith. William Smith. Thomas Sulan. Jason Sung. Elizabeth Stephen. Xiaoji Su. Marcus Wood. Nicholas Worrell. Joinsheng Xie. Tianyang Xie. Connor Young. Yutong Zhang. Bachelor of Science in Mathematical Studies, Saing Chung Kim. Priscilla Pui Yan Lee. Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Thomas Abbott. Alexander Aboud. Zoe Apostolidi. Thomas Ball. Nicola Barry. Anita Elizabeth Borton. Jack William Bottomley. Daniel Britton. Timothy Alexander Burfitt. Poppy Alice Carnegie Peak. Andrew Carr. George Allen Carter. Edward Ho Yin Cheung. Eddie Peter Albert Clark. Isaac Clements. John Davies. Lucinda Dawson. Jasmine Doak. Christopher James Eager. Jessica Helen Faulkner. Nicholas Flynn. Hugo William Govett. Alexander Dominic Gray. Emma Louise Henderson. Catherine Grace Holmes. Xiong Huan. Robert Hutton Attenborough. Hendrik Christoffel Janssen van Rensburg. Scott Kemp. Oh. Stephen Keohane. Pooja Khatri. Tuan Lai. Gemma Leach. Michael Richard Lee. Robin Elizabeth Lewis. Hannah Luxton. Lucas Alexander McKinder. Kathleen Helen McNee. Benedict Matthews. Natalie Louise Matthews. Derek Marnies. Shannon Alexander Nash. Tu Tai Ungayan. Penny Nixon. Danielle Norman. Damon Payne. Daniela Grace Ringrose. Jacob Ross. Thomas Henry Russell Saminaden. Ashley Jane Sinfield. Andrew Mark Smith. Ioana Stilianu. Emily Isabel Taylor. Jonathan Joseph Taylor. Cady Haff Thomas. John Vagg. Jessica Walker. Katrina Walker. Emily Waters. Chloe Louise Webb. Kelly Williams. Sarah Elizabeth Willis. Hannah Margaret Wisden. Jordan Ray. Rosanna Wright, winner of the IMA Prize. Junwen Wu. Yimin Zhang. Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Statistics, Yasmin Dowling. Christopher Fogden. Krishna Gaglani. Michaela Hill, winner of the James Duthie Prize. Matthew James Humberstone. Helen Laura Mashiter. Manasa Patil. Sam Stadnick. Yunkun Yang. Bachelor of Science in Statistics, Simon James Perkis. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Mathematics. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Chancellor and to receive their degree certificates? Master of Mathematics, Aisu Aktunk. Bethany Naomi Burley. Kate Elizabeth Bruce. Murray Calder. Thomas Clark. Francis Cox. Charles Craven. Poppy Alexandra Deards. Morgan Luke Evans. Jack Edward Evanson. Emlyn Farnhill. Thomas Goddard. Matthew Peter James Halton. Thomas Howe. Hannah Howell. Alexander William James Jessett. Timothy Jones. Maria Kabalyeva. Hannah Lee. Glenn Mason. Emily Harriet Moore. Fabian Mackenzie Smart. Thomas Lewis Morgan. Rachel Margaret Naylor, winner of the BP Centurion Award for Excellence and Contribution. Hieu Trong Ungayan. Cameron Osborne. Michael Parsons, winner of the F.H. Jackson Prize. Mark Pattenden. Catherine Hannah Powers, winner of the David Powell Prize. Jessie Pritchard. Philip Roger. Matthew Russell. James Andrew John Rinn. Nandip Songara. Jasmine Swift. Jemima Maple Tabart. Michael John Tadd. Matthew Rees Thomas. Moritz Wagner. James Peter Wayne. Cindy Yi Ting Wan. Luke Douglas Wincop. Harry Luke Wilkinson. Caris Williams. James Lawrence Idris Williams. Matthew David Wiltshire, winner of the IMA Prize. Wei Nyong Zhuang. Master of Mathematics in Modern Applications of Mathematics. Lucy Sarah Smith. Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Science who have been awarded research degrees within the Department of Mathematical Sciences. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Chancellor and to receive their degree certificates? Kantali Kwisi.
Very good. I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Maren Eckhoff.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Christoph Hugel.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Yi Liu.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Mason James Wyndham Pember.
And I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
James Douglas Shanks.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Layla Sorkati.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Jesus Tapia Amador.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Hannah Woodall.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I now call upon the University Orator to present a candidate for a degree honoris causa.
Chancellor, mathematics provides the descriptive and analytical toolkit that makes much of science and engineering possible. In the last century, computer science has emerged as a new scientific and engineering discipline, radically different from the others and requiring a distinct mathematical foundation. Today it is my pleasure to present to you Professor Martin Hyland, a distinguished mathematician whose work sheds light on the nature of computation. Logicians and mathematicians who work on problems concerning computation often trace their intellectual heritage back to Alan Turing. Professor Hyland enjoys the rare distinction of having direct claim to such heritage. He studied for his doctorate under supervision of Robin Gandy at Oxford. Gandy himself had been the only research student of Turing. From the beginning, a central concern of Hyland's research was the question of the structure, behaviour and properties of those functions that can be calculated by a computer and how to understand them as ordinary mathematical objects. Pioneering work in the 1930s in this area by Alonzo Church, incidentally Church was the supervisor of Turing's PhD, had introduced a sort of programming language for such functions, known as the lambda calculus. Hyland demonstrated very early on that there was a direct correspondence between the programs in this language and certain collections of mathematical functions. This idea that programs can be precisely analysed by correspondence with mathematical entities became the central tenet of the field known as semantics of programming languages, a field on which Professor Hyland's work has had a profound influence. In 1976, Hyland became a Fellow of King's College, Cambridge, where he has remained ever since. During this time, his deep mathematical insight has been brought to bear on a range of questions in mathematical logic, in the area of algebra known as category theory, and in computer science, theoretical computer science, with the problems of computable functions a recurring theme. Classical mathematics yields an understanding of functions too broad for computation. The early work of Church, Turing, and others had clearly established that not all functions are computable. In semantics of programming languages, it turned out that even the most basic notion of mathematics, that of a set, needed refinement in order to support the various operations and constructions that were required. A significant branch of Hyland's work showed how new mathematical universes could be constructed where the basic entities, sets and functions, were immediately amenable to such constructions and where all functions were computable. So mathematics and computation were not so far apart after all. Among Professor Hyland's more recent achievements, one perhaps stands out. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, much work in semantics of computation was driven by the so-called full abstraction problem for PCF, the question of how to construct a class of mathematical objects whose behavior corresponded to the programs of a particular language. In the early 1990s, Hyland and his collaborator Lucan cracked the problem, replacing sets by certain kinds of games and functions by strategies for those games yielded a solution. Yet far from closing off the field, this result inspired a new generation of research in what's now known as game semantics. But beyond the unquestionable distinction of his research achievements, Professor Hyland is renowned throughout the research community for his great generosity of spirit, his enthusiasm for the field, and his humble concern for those who work in it. His regular appearances at research conferences and workshops worldwide are always eagerly anticipated by audiences keen to benefit from the latest idea or gem of wisdom. Through his work, his insight, and his open, approachable nature, Professor Hyland marks himself out as one of the outstanding mathematicians working at the interface with computing. Chancellor, I present to you Professor Martin Hyland, who is eminently worthy to receive the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to receive this honorary degree which recognises the importance of curiosity-driven research. That matters very much to me, and for that, and for Professor McCuska's very generous oration, I am grateful. A degree is rightly a matter for celebration. For university students, it is a non-trivial matter to complete the course and then to pass the exams. But what is a degree for? That is a tricky question. Nationally, the debate on education is dominated by utilitarian considerations. At the individual level, by employability, and at the societal, by contribution to national prosperity. So it is easy to forget that education is not merely a common and public good, but something of value in itself. Forgetting that is a particular temptation for mathematics, as mathematics certainly does have a major economic impact. And equally, I suppose that you graduating will be well aware that a Bath degree has definite value in employment, and Bath is rightly proud of that. But I think that your education has other value too. Let me tell you a story. The mathematician Euclid was one of the great intellects of ancient Greece. His famous work on geometry, The Elements, had a profound effect, first on the Arab world, and then on our Western civilization, where for many years it was the most read work after the Bible. Sadly, we know almost nothing about Euclid as a person. But one story has come down to us as follows. Someone who had begun to learn geometry with Euclid, when he had to learn the first theorem, asked Euclid, "What shall I gain by learning these things?" Euclid called his slave and said, "Give him 3 obols, since he must make gain out of what he learnt." There is a great deal of moral force in those 3 obols. I think they show a genius in Euclid which goes beyond mathematics. So I wish my fellow graduates success in their future careers, just as the Chancellor did. But I also hope that they will go on learning, not for 3 obols, but for its own sake. Thank you very much.
I now declare this congregation closed for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.